Hello and welcome to It's My Life with your host Chaya Srivatsa and my guest, the giggling Jeeva Anna George. That's my guest today. And what does Jeeva do? She says, I do a lot of things. We'll talk about a lot of things, but I said, okay, tell me one thing that you're doing. Well, I'm into market research. Well, that's good enough to start with. But actually, today's topic is nothing to do with market research or anything else that Jeeva is doing. It's about gluten-free. Gluten. Have you heard of that? Some of you may be having those issues. Let even the listeners know what it's all about. Because it looks like, today we're going to have 2 other gluten people on the show too. So it looks like every third person is gluten. So, okay, just in case you think gluten is some kind of a trait or an attitude, no. It's something to do with your system reacting or not reacting to something or the other. Okay, so get ready to know all about gluten from my guest, Jeeva Anna George, who's here in the studio with me. Hi, Jeeva.
Hi, Chaya. Thank you for inviting me here.
Okay. Yeah. Now, let's talk about gluten a little later. Okay, we'll keep the suspense going. Let's talk about yourself, Jeeva.
Okay. So, I was, though I'm Indian, I was born and brought up in the Gulf, in Kuwait. Mm-hmm. So, I'm someone who's seen the Gulf War, been in refugee camp.
Really?
Also been, I was lost in the refugee camp.
Tell me a little about that.
Yeah, so I think this was 90 August. Okay. So, my dad still works with the Ministry of Electricity and Water. He's an air conditioning specialist engineer. So in the 90s, when we were there, it was our summer vacation because summer is June, July, August in Kuwait. Mm-hmm. So this time we didn't go to India in the 90s. So for our summer holiday in the 90s.
It must be really blistering hot.
Yeah, 50, really? 51. We have air conditioners, so that never bothered us. But of course, when you go out for that bit, mm-hmm. It's a little... Evenings are cooler. So what happened? The invasion happened and then we all were grounded at home. Mm-hmm. There were curfews, so we,
How old were you then?
It was 90s, so I was around 7.
Okay. Yeah. You still remember all that?
Yeah, very clearly. Mm-hmm. Because that was a very, for us children, mm-hmm. we lived in a ministry accommodation and there were Bangladeshis, Indians and Pakistanis. So we were very close-knit, all of us. And we had the same background. So it was very easy for us to get along with each other. And it was fun because we kids got to be together the whole day and play and do whatever we wanted.
You didn't know the seriousness of the whole thing?
No. We just had a lot of fun playing games inside the apartment.
It's so good to be young, right?
Yes, very nice. No worries, mm-hmm. no differences, nothing is a problem. So so what happened is we went via bus to Jordan, uh-huh. and in before Jordan, and that was a refugee camp. So we had to stay there for 3 days. Uh-huh. 3 nights and 3 days. Okay. So there were tents where around 50 people could sleep.
In a tent, 50 people?
Yeah. So, we just slept like that. Mm-hmm. And the Red Crescent, not the Red Cross. In the Middle East, it's a Red Crescent. Used to give us rations, which is kubus, which is bread, pita mm-hmm. bread, and cucumber and tomato and milk and curd. 3 times a day.
Same thing.
And then we had bathrooms like 2 kilometers. We had to go. It's basically a hole, nothing else. Okay. But you could just walk.
Same bread.
Yeah.
Cucumber and tomato.
But it was very tasty that time for us. We still crave for that actually.
When you're hungry, anything tastes good.
So we had a good time. And
you said the bathrooms were 2 miles away?
Yeah. Oh, we were children. For us, that didn't matter. Our mothers did have a problem.
Okay.
Yeah. We remember them complaining. Mm-hmm. So we got a bus and they said Air India's biggest airlift happened from Jordan Airport in the history. Till now, this never ever happened. Mm-hmm. So in Air India's history. So we were sent to Jordan Airport and we were told you will get the free tickets and we can go to Bombay. Mm. So, but this, you have to wait in a queue for this because it's free. So it took us an entire night to get close to the door of the airport. Mm. So my... parents, being who they are, they took the initiative and said, okay, we're going to arrange this. So this lot stay here, this lot stay here. We're going to take the women's passport and the men's passport and the children. So they organized that. So they were busy organizing, getting the tickets and a few other uncles and aunties. So we children all were sleeping together and 5 aunties were in charge. I don't remember how many of them. So what happened when they announced that we've got our tickets, mm-hmm. we were so sleepy. It was at 3 in the morning or something. We were really sleeping. It was cold, and they had given us blankets. I have 2 sisters, one elder and one, so I'm the middle kid, younger. So they all went in one direction, I think to the left, and I was so sleepy. I think I saw my sister and I went in this direction.
Okay.
But there are so many kids. I didn't think they took account of how many of us were there, because my mom was not there. She was at the counter
Oh my
taking
God.
tickets for everyone.
Okay.
Then later on, I realized that I can't see anyone I know, even though I was sleepy, and you do realize that.
No familiar
I
face.
just started crying. And then by the time they got the tickets and they're handing out tickets, and my mother's like, "Where's Jeeva?" Everyone's looking everywhere. Where's Jeeva? Jeeva's not to be found. My sister also doesn't know where I am.
Okay.
My elder sister. She's 4 years older to me. So everyone was like, "Oh." So my mother said, "You all want to go, you go. I'm not going without my child." So what happened in the meanwhile is I saw someone I recognized, and I thought he was someone related or something. So because of, again, that memory comes into play there. And he saw me and he recognized that I was this person's daughter, because he was our ticket. He used to give us our tickets. So he just held me there and said, "Wait, I'll go and make an announcement." So they made an announcement. By the time there was a lot of panic and drama and all. So they announced, Mr. P.C. George's daughter is with us. Please come and get her. So I always tell people that if it weren't for that uncle and my memory and maybe God's grace, I would probably be a prisoner of war.
At 7?
Yeah, at 7. No, they would have taken me. You never know what,
Yeah.
That National Geographic featured that girl, right? Something like that. I studied a little bit in Kerala, in Trivandrum, and went back, finished my schooling from Kuwait. Then I went to do my graduation in Stella Maris in Chennai in economics. So that was a big transition. I've never lived.
So after this thing that happened in Kuwait, your family moved back to India.
Yeah, we stayed here for 2 years, and then my dad was called back from the ministry.
Okay.
So we went back and finished our schooling there, my 12th CBSE from there. I chose to come to India, and I always decided that I will do economics, in spite of coming from a Malayali family where everyone was an engineer or a doctor.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there some kind of a trend or something amongst
Yeah,
Malayalis?
because both my sisters are engineers. My dad is an engineer, and the rest of the family all are doctors. So it's a very science-based thing. And at 13, I said I will not take science. I will only do commerce. Everyone got a shock. So yeah, I knew from beginning what I wanted to do. From living with my parents at 17, I went and lived in Chennai in that hot heat where there was no AC.
But after Kuwait, Chennai must be like...
There we live with air conditioners every minute you move.
Okay.
Here it's... Yeah, I mean, initially it was a struggle to get used. No water. When I was there, it was the worst time Chennai had. Brackish water used to come out of our pipes. So, Santhom River water, Marina Beach salt water. And of course, what Stella gave me was, I was the president of the quiz debate club, quiz debate and public speaking club. So that was the best because I was always doing culturals, and the only person who had permission to skip a class
was you.
was me.
Okay.
A few of us. So, and because of my background there, I went to the UK to do my master's in economics again.
Oh, okay.
In Nottingham. So,
Gluten. What is gluten?
gluten is a protein which is found in wheat, not oats, bran, barley, rye. Rye is in R-Y-E,
Okay.
the grain. So, now gluten is what gives these grains and these flours, when they're made into flour, the binding property.
Okay.
It's the best binder and preservative known to man, and the cheapest as well.
Okay.
That's why gluten features in everything we do today.
Uh-huh.
Even, I'm talking about the non-food products. How many of you all know it's there in lotions, in shampoos, in dishwashing liquids,
Really?
in nail polishes, in everything we use today
Okay.
has gluten in one form. Wheat germ oil, wheat protein, hydrolyzed wheat protein, wheat fiber. You take a product today, I will show you, big brands like L'Oreal and Revlon have it. Dishwashing liquids have it sometimes.
But they don't affect you because you don't, eat
it is
them or
absorbed
drink
by my
them,
skin, it gets into my system.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
See, if it's eaten, definitely, but a shampoo will, totally come into, it gets into the scalp and it'll.
But they don't mention it in the ingredients, right? That this contains
No.
gluten.
It doesn't. The labeling as of now is not compulsory, but ingredients, if you check, like I call myself OCD. If I find any product, I have to read the ingredients. Without that, I'm not going to buy anything.
Okay.
So it will be written wheat germ oil, wheat this thing. So then I see that, I said, I don't buy it. That's it. But I've been so careful after I have 2-3 incidents with such products.
Okay, how did you discover that you're allergic to gluten?
No, I have something called celiac disease.
What is that?
Celiac disease is an autoimmune disorder.
Uh-huh.
So autoimmune means where your body is, trying to attack itself.
Okay.
So when I consume any form of gluten or it's on my skin, because I also have a skin version of it called dermatitis herpetiformis.
Where did you discover all these?
Yes, we'll come to that.
Okay.
In 2000, in 2003, I had amoebic dysentery thanks to some food in Ooty when I went for an excursion. And 2007, I started working in Bangalore. So I came to Bangalore. I was living alone. And I guess it was the food in the PG or whatever. I used to have constant diarrhea. Came, it went. Then food poisoning sometime. Then I had water problem. So because of that, again, I had strong antibiotics. So, I thought of because of all that. Then in 2009, I got married. And that was April. And they had moved me from the CII Karnataka office to the CII Delhi, but working out of Bangalore. We were a very close team, but so we had a lot of work to do as well. So it was kind of stressful because numbers were less, but the work was more. And I was young. I was the youngest. My boss is 20 years older to me. Senior director of CII. So, yes. And what happened is I used to get very stressed. No, if I'm under pressure, I'd rather do work at my own pace. But if I get under pressure, I do get a little bit stressed. But there was I didn't recognize what was happening to me. My hair was falling. I was losing weight. I was gaining weight. I was losing weight. I had diarrhea all the time.
Okay.
My nails used to brown. I used to feel very, very stressed. I didn't sleep for 2 to 3 months. I'm not joking. I used to just lie in bed. I didn't want to work. At the same time, I didn't want to leave work. My identity, I was so depressed.
So what did you do for all this?
I didn't know. I went to the doctor. He said, your stomach is fine, you have lactose intolerance. Lactose intolerance. So I went off milk, only curd. So I was eating curd rice for 1 month. No difference. It's all the same. I'm still feeling worried. I'm still having pain, joint pain. I'm still having diarrhea, everything. Then he says, I think you have irritable bowel syndrome. So what do I do for that? No, you have to know. You maintain a diary and figure out for yourself what suits you.
What is it that?
So I figured that I could not have bindi, I could not have kundru, I could not have lot of seeds. Were not digesting. So I stopped all that.
Still it didn't stop.
I used to take 3 hours to write an email. And I used to do emails in 3 minutes. I used to write so many emails. I had to do so many, if there are a lot of conferences which I had to organize and stuff like that. Finally, in 2009, I quit my job and then I was feeling much better. But again, in 2010, I had episodes of itching and bone pain, joint pain, and again diarrhea. So someone suggested, one of my husband's uncles, why don't you come over to Velo, CMC Velo, Christian Medical College, and show yourself to a gastroenterologist. So we went a fun trip and nothing serious. We thought, okay, we'll just go and check anyway. We don't know what's wrong. So I met the HOD of the gastro department and he told me, Jeeva, I don't think anything's much wrong with you, but we'll do a certain test. I think you might have wheat allergy, but it's genetic, so I don't think you would have it. And then he put me through some very basic blood tests and it came out positive. And he was shocked and I was like, what is this? I don't know what it is. Then we had to do a biopsy. So I did a gastroscopy and biopsy of my small intestine.
Okay.
And then, it showed. So what I have is, what was diagnosed was, I have celiac disease, which is an autoimmune disorder where my body treats gluten as poison. And it tries as much as possible to eject it. That is why a symptom is diarrhea. That's why it's malabsorption.
Okay.
It doesn't want to absorb. It just wants to get the gluten out of your body.
Okay.
That's why diarrhea.
So once you discovered that,
Yes.
what did you have to do about it? You have to change your whole pattern of eating.
Eating, everything. Even including sambar. because
Where's gluten in sambar?
asafoetida, hing, kayam. It has, if you're using powdered hing, they will always put maida in it, 30%.
Really?
So, as an anticoagulant to stop it from forming lumps. Yes, maida is used in that.
Okay.
So, I had to tell people, if I was visiting anyone, I would ask them, I would not eat that, that's it. So, from all your breads, all your bakery products, all your cereals, because even cornflakes has malt extract. I can't even have barley, so that's malt, so I can't have that.
Okay.
Frozen products, wheat in most of the frozen products because it's the cheapest known preservative to man. In canned, tinned stuff, in
So it practically rules out everything.
I cannot go to a evening tea because it will have a samosa, I can have besan. So the flours which I can have today is rice, grains, rice, besan, chickpea, millet, ragi, jawar, bajra.
So they form your staple diet.
Buckwheat, kutu. So but rice, corn and jawar, bajra, millet, ragi are easy to find. Soya also is fine, but soya too much of it again is not very good. So between rice and corn and millets is my maximum interaction. Yeah, that's what my body gets. And of course a lot of fresh fruit and vegetable and also a lot of salads which I make at home. I would never have a salad outside. Because my doctor told me clearly not to do. You don't know if it's washed. As it is, you have a very sensitive digestive system. Why would you want to take a risk? A lettuce, if it's not washed properly, you might...
But that could be for anybody, right? Not only
for anybody.
With
But mine is much more sensitive, right? I can't digest a whole grain like wheat. Or even, see, with oats... Technically, there's no gluten in it, but oats is always grown along with wheat. And it's processed in wheat manufacturing facilities. That's why we cannot have oat, because there'll be a lot of cross-contamination and they look the same. So, you can't really say. So
How many people know that they are allergic to, or you call it allergic to gluten?
There are 3 different things. There's celiac disease, which is the worst form, which I have, because it's internal, severe. Right. There is a wheat allergy, which is an allergy, just like a milk allergy. And there's a gluten sensitivity. Now, this is the tricky part. I may not have any medical problem in paper, but I have the same symptoms. Now, I know many people like that. For them to tell an Indian doctor that I have this, it's very difficult. Because they say there's no problem. Then why are you saying you have a problem? So then they go off gluten for 4 to 2 months and see that they're feeling much better. They don't have headache, they don't have rashes, they don't have leg pain, knee pain, hair fall, depression, anxiety. Then they discover it. So it's called non-celiac gluten sensitivity. This is what our famous Djokovic has. So he's our gluten-free poster boy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have food available like that, which is gluten-free? We have heard of being vegan, with...
Vegan, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's there. But this gluten thing is coming up quite new. It's not all that...
Yeah. So the awareness is extremely low in India.
Yeah.
Even doctors don't know about it. You take a sample of 10 doctors, call them here and ask, do you know celiac disease? They'll be like,
What is it?
Do you know wheat allergy? Yeah, we know. Just don't eat chapatis. No, that's what a doctor told me.
Okay. But you can't even eat upma and all that.
No, semolina, no.
Nothing
no noodles,
no
Southeast Asian food because no soy sauce. Soy sauce has wheat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you need to know all these things.
Yeah, it's amazing because you have to go into every detail of what you do in a day-to-day basis. Because I told you soaps, shampoos, cosmetics, everything. It's not just
the food that you take in.
Because for me, it's an extreme form of it. So I'm very sensitive.
Does it constrict your lifestyle? Because when you go out to eat and...
See, I have not made it constrictive to me because I realize that if I do that, I will be marooned in my house, not meeting people, and I cannot do that. I need to meet people. But I also like my time alone. So I need to keep that balance as well. So, but then I have to take a lot of effort to keep myself healthy. I will have to call ahead if I'm going to a restaurant. If I'm going to a relative or a friend's place, either I will say, I can eat this. I will know everyone's menu before I reach there.
Yeah,
or
okay.
I will tell them I will bring something, or I will eat, or I will bring my food. Like, people say, Jeeva's come with that tiffin now. Tiffin is coming.
With your tiffin. But when you go to a hotel, how do you...
Hotel, again, I call. Always call before.
And tell them what?
tell them that, is there anything that I can have? This is my problem. Or sometimes if I walk in, I ask always to speak to the manager or the chef.
Okay.
And till the itsy bitsy detail, sometimes I've gone to places where they've told me, go come and look at our kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that also, see, many people, especially celiac disease is very common in children. They are diagnosed easily now. Not at my age. I was diagnosed at 26. So parents find it very irritating to keep asking these questions.
Okay.
You see, they feel humiliation sometimes. People will look and say, why is she being so snobbish? I get that snob tag a lot. Because like you say, vegan, they think because she wants some health reasons, she wants to do gluten free, whatever. Anyway, so I will really ask them thoroughly. So they are sometimes amazed at how much I know about the food that they're giving me.
Yeah, naturally.
So, because, at a 5-star hotel when I went for a conference, they told me they put basin in dal makhani. That's so weird. I found that, see, I can eat basin, that's fine. But why would you put thickening? Paneer also, they put maida. So everywhere, every gravy.
So you can't even have maida?
No, wheat, maida. Corn flour is all, see, refined forms of wheat. Brown, wheat. Once the brown goes, you get the white. That's
so you
maida.
Can't even eat brown bread.
Even more polish it becomes some corn flour.
Okay. You have all those donuts and all, even those you can't eat.
That's all maida, no?
Poor you.
Yeah, I mean, so that's what I tell everyone. Once you know this, you will feel depressed. Okay?
Oh, really?
Depressed in the sense, I'm not saying depression like medical depression.
I know.
I'm talking about like, oh, I can't go this, I can't eat this. That's there. That's there for some time. You cannot deny it. People will feel bad. And the reaction from other people will make you feel even more bad. Like older people saying, oh my God, so sad.
You, at such a
she
young
cannot,
age.
oh, what is this? Look at us, oh, we are so happy. Okay, please leave me
It's
alone.
like almost like it's your fault,
yes,
you know,
yes,
that you
especially
got it.
in Malayalam. It's just like, oh, she's so young, my God. Thank you very much. And especially in our Syrian Christian community, we bake a lot. We make very good cakes and puddings and stuff. So it's all maida. And little bit cake, little bit. I said no, little bit also no. I cannot eat. That's it.
It requires tremendous self-discipline, isn't it, Jeeva?
Yes, it does. You cannot cheat. No, but the other thing is, if you cheat on your diet, it's going to affect you. Why do you want 3 weeks of diarrhea? Is it worth it? Not getting up from your bed? No, it is not.
Oh, it comes to that level?
Yes, because I also have, because of this, positional vertigo. That's why I end up in bed for 10 days sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it doesn't come in the way of your work and all that.
Of course it does.
It does. I have with me another gluten fan. That is Deepa Malini Devi from Mysore. I'm speaking to her on the phone. Deepa, tell me about this gluten business. Deepa.
Hello.
Hello, Deepa, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I want to introduce Deepa as not only Deepa Malini Devi with gluten problem. Deepa also happens to be the granddaughter of the erstwhile Maharaja of Mysore. So the gluten doesn't spare anybody. Deepa, we've just been talking to Jeeva Anna George about it.
Yes.
Now she says there are 3 kinds of gluten problem. Okay, which category do you fall under?
I think I fall under the category of being gluten intolerant.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't tested for celiac, but I don't think I have that. I'm just gluten intolerant.
Okay. And how did you find out that you were gluten intolerant?
Well, actually, I met Dr. Jagdish of Jag Therapy about 13 years ago. And I had actually taken my son Ranajay there as he had been unwell and he had been on antibiotics. And just after the antibiotics, he had, his nose was leaking again. And when I met him and, he gave him some echinacea to deal with that. And then after that, when it persisted, once again, he kept falling ill very often, my son.
Okay.
And, a lot of constipation and stuff like that. And then when I spoke to him, he said, that you could be, you're gluten intolerant and lactose intolerant as well.
So you found out this
Yes,
because of your son?
Ranajay was my son, that he was both lactose and gluten intolerant.
Okay.
And I asked him how, that was possible. And he said, you're gluten and lactose intolerant as well, and he's got it from you.
And Eureka, that's how you came to know you had it.
Yes, he is this, He is, well, he changed our lives totally about 13 years ago. And he can just basically, he does this pulse reading and all that. And, when he told us that, and I went off this gluten, it just changed everything. I used to have a lot of headaches. I suffered from headaches for years.
Yeah, this is what
it
Jeeva
was on a
also
daily
talking
basis
about.
that I had headaches.
Okay.
Indigestion. And so did my son. And once we went on this zero gluten and no milk, I know it shocked a lot of people, but it helped us a lot.
Okay.
And it cleared up I was on like a crocin or even a brufen at times because I used to have such bad headaches.
Okay.
Almost on a daily basis. So that helped me a lot.
All right.
I didn't go through any test.
Okay. The minute you stopped all this, that also stopped.
Yes. Automatically it just stopped.
Amazing.
And the only time I get a headache is if there has been some contamination in my food. And I've, without knowing if there happens to be some gluten in the food, then I, have a massive headache the next day, or I have a lot of bloating.
But tell me, Deepa, you can do it as an adult. How
Yes.
does your son manage this?
It was very difficult, and this
Yeah.
was in those days. At least now you have all these different imported, food that is the gluten-free foods that are available,
Okay.
and also local zero gluten products. But when he was a kid, there was nothing like that, and all I had to do was learn how to bake with rice flour and make things with rice flour.
And he wasn't tempted to eat from his friend's box, and
He was, and I used to kind of give him a reward if he refused. He brought back chocolates and gave it to me instead of eating it.
Oh, even chocolates have gluten?
Not gluten, but lactose, because he had the lactose problem. I think sometimes they do contain, because
Jeeva says even that has
things
gluten.
like 5-star and I forget some of the chocolates do contain gluten.
Okay. So
Yes.
now completely your son is in the program.
Yes, he has been. Both of them are on. Even my daughter is gluten intolerant.
Okay.
Jaideep, my husband, is also gluten intolerant.
That's amazing. I can understand your children being because you are. How did your husband get it? Genetic even for the husband?
Yes, apparently his mother has it too.
Oh God. Okay.
So we are on for the last 13 years we've been on a sort of a zero gluten diet.
That's okay because the whole family is there, so you're cooking for the whole family the same kind of diet and all that.
Yes.
Isn't it? I was asking Jeeva about has it affected her lifestyle? Has it affected your lifestyle, Deepa?
It did, because but then everywhere we went, we made sure that we spoke to the chef, and luckily for us at Hotel Regalis in Mysore, they were very understanding, and he started making cakes for us with rice flour.
Okay.
They started experimenting too with us. For the first time, and initially the cakes were not so nice, but now he makes such a beautiful cake.
Okay, with rice
and we
flour.
make it at home too.
With rice flour.
With rice flour, yes.
Okay. So you guys can patent all this, right?
Well, I guess there's so many other people out there who are doing the same.
And the reason why I'm doing this show on this gluten business is that it's not very well known, isn't it?
It is not. In fact, this is 13 years ago when we came to know that we were gluten intolerant. I think it upset a lot of people in my family because I was not giving my kids, any gluten.
Yeah.
And no milk, which is even more sacrilegious.
So how do you have coffee, tea and all that then?
I've never drunk coffee or tea. I'm not a fan of coffee or tea.
No, what about the children? What do they have then? What beverage?
The kids, my son used to drink milk, but after that we stopped the milk, and he just grew up on without any milk, just a lot of yogurt.
Okay.
That's about it.
So now, how old are they, your children?
Ranajay is 16, and my daughter is 9. She gets a bit tempted now and then, but she's realized that, if she eats something, then she has a reaction.
So it
could be an eczema, a skin problem, or it could be
Okay.
something else. So then a tummy ache. So now she has also, slowly she's learned not to eat.
Do you know many people
gluten.
in Mysore who have this issue with them?
Yes, I do.
So there is a fraternity, the gluten.
Yes, I do. Yes,
gluten
I have
fraternity.
another friend, and that in that family they are also gluten intolerant, the mother and daughter. And I think people, as they come to realize A lot of people who are connected with this JAG therapy, many people who have come and who have gone off gluten, not only have they felt better, there's not much bloating and, no indigestion and stuff, but I know one person who has also managed to lose a lot of weight.
Okay.
Going off gluten.
Okay. So thank you so much, Deepa, for giving this information. And I'm hoping, because I'm doing it on radio, people who are listening to it also become aware that there is something like that. And if they have had these kind of symptoms that you're talking about, continuous headaches, bad, like Jeeva was talking about, she had a lot of diarrhea, and you're talking about constipation.
The constipation is another thing. A lot of tummy ache. Yeah. And lethargy is another one thing. I used to be very lethargic when I was on a gluten diet.
Okay.
But once I eliminated the gluten, I just don't feel that sleepy or tired anymore.
So they needn't go to a shrink if they're feeling depressed and all that. They should
gastroenterologist.
Okay, they should go to, that's Jeeva telling us about going to a gastroenterologist and find out if you are gluten intolerant or sensitive.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes. The generic term is gluten intolerance.
That's it.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Deepa, for being with us on this show and telling us about this. It definitely will help a lot of mothers.
And hi, Deepa. Nice to hear your voice.
So 2 gluten women here saying hi to each other.
Hi, Jeeva. We're finally talking. I mean, we've only met on Facebook, but...
See, that's another place where gluten fraternity can meet. So we can start a page, the gluten page.
Yes.
Okay, and Deepa and Jeeva will be there on it. Thank you so much, Deepa. It's such a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you for having me on the show.
Bye.
Bye.
It's amazing. They say necessity is the mother of invention. So if you have anything like this, one need not feel upset and say that's the end of the world. It's a beginning of another world, isn't it, Jeeva?
Definitely.
Okay.
And I would say, I think my brain works better now because I'm always thinking of solutions.
Oh, right.
You give me a normal recipe, I will think, okay, if I do this flour and this flour, I'll get that consistency.
You become creative about it.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. How do you spread this around, Jeeva? How will you let people know? Because I'm sure a lot of people don't know that these are the symptoms.
So, wherever I go and I'm offered food, I always say, point blank on the face, I cannot eat it because I have a problem. Now, in Indian society, that's not appreciated.
Yes.
To say you have a problem.
It's an insult to them.
It's an insult. To yourself and to them both. So I'm very, I don't want to say shameless, but I'm very honest and transparent about it. 1. 2, I tell people that maintain a food diary. So you know what you're eating. You know what garbage is going into your... So for yourself, you can see what you're eating and make out where is symptoms, what is it. 3rd, be positive. It's not like it's the end of the world. I get phone calls from people saying they want to commit suicide.
Because of this?
Yes, because they think they can't eat anything. A 25-year-old boy who's a software engineer.
But here is a boy, she says her son was 4 or 5 years old when he was...
When they're adults, they're more this thing. They have parental support.
Correct.
Once they're growing up, they don't. Be positive about it. It's not like the end of the world. People are living with nut, egg, milk and gluten. So I know such people as well.
Okay.
So this is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And you can always find alternatives and people to speak to about in India.
Where does one find these alternatives?
Alternatives you have to research and find, or ask your doctor or the nutritionist or someone in a hospital.
So the nutritionists are aware about this and they can give you...
Well, if you tell them what is that you cannot have, they'll tell you the alternatives, which is rice, and I just mentioned before. Mm-hmm. And so it's you playing with the flours, experimenting. I've had a lot of upsets with flour and baking. Okay. But 3 years of doing it, now you give me a recipe, I will convert it.
How do you promote this? Do you have a social
So first I started talking about it, and then I met Archana. I went for cooking classes with gloves because I can't touch maida.
Oh, you can't even touch it.
Yeah, I can't because I inhale it and whatever.
Yeah.
So I have to wash my hand immediately. I can't put it on my face. So then Archana, we are having discussion. This is in 2011 December, and during the cooking class there, and she was like, "You should write a page. You should start a page because you know so much." And
so you've got one now?
Yes, I have a page called Gluten Free Living in India.
Gluten Free Living in India.
It's www.facebook.com/CAPSGF, which stands for gluten free and India. So if you type in, you should come to my page directly.
Okay. And you know everything there. You got some recipes also there?
Yes. So some recipes I share offhand. Some you'll have to message me because a lot of plagiarism does happen.
Sure, correct. You got to inbox you and then you'll give it to them.
Yes.
But you also give them a lot of jankari about
Information, where to find. I get a minimum of 3 messages every day saying, Jeeva, in Ludhiana, in Bangalore, in Vellore, in Rajasthan, where do I find it?
So before we wind up, Jeeva, this is what we want to tell people is how do you know that you're gluten intolerant or sensitive to it? Is number one, if your digestion system is not either you have constipation or you have diarrhea.
Yeah, it can be both. It can be
this or it can be
and
that.
And also weight loss and weight gain.
Weight gain and weight loss, which you cannot explain.
Overweight, and I've gone to VLCC, I've gone to dietitian. They always tell me, Gee, we don't understand why you can't lose weight because you eat healthy food.
Okay. Then the other thing that you could be losing hair.
Depression, unexplained depression, anxiety, stress.
Without any
no reason.
reason.
Someone like me is stressed 24/7. I don't know. I didn't know who I was,
Okay. So these are the symptoms for it. Don't rush to a psychiatrist or something thinking something. Just go find out from a gastroenterologist.
All check your diet. See.
Yeah. No, fine. But you'll have to go and check with your proper kind of blood tests and all that. Is it visible through the blood tests that you have this kind of an allergy?
It shows that something in your body is very high.
Okay.
That kind of the anti-TTG is,
So maybe if you have these things, even before you go to a doctor, you can probably stop eating those foods which have gluten and check it out for yourself, whether you are allergic to it or not.
The problem is if you are gluten intolerant and you go to a doctor and you stop it for 2 months and then go to a doctor, the problem is that it won't show up on your blood test.
Okay.
So before going to a doctor, eat at least half a bread. Don't eat anything else but half a bread. It might make you sick, but then if you want to know the correct results, then you have to do that. And many people have stopped eating gluten on their own, saying that it helps them with weight loss. But when it comes to weight loss, if you're losing weight on a gluten-free diet, that means you have a problem in your body. So don't go by your own assessment. Because I lost weight. I lost almost 10 kilos.
So on that note, we'll say bye-bye. I do hope this information that Jeeva and Deepa have shared will definitely help you guys figure out if you have it or not. If you have it, don't get disturbed because help is there.